Well, hello there, and welcome to this entrepreneurial life. My name is Erlen Bakke. I am the best-selling author of a book called Never Work Again and 90 Days to Profit. I have this YouTube channel. I'm doing these daily YouTube videos just because it's fun and I enjoy them. And I want to share some of the things that I've learned over the 10 years I've been an entrepreneur. So just to give you an idea, I have 3 companies, about 75 employees, and I've done a lot of speaking. I've helped a lot of people with their business, but I'm still learning and I still get stuck and I still need daily motivation. Now, I actually get really motivated by making these videos. So I do get motivated by sharing some of the things that I've struggled with and then trying to help other people. So that's actually one of the tricks in becoming more motivated, is if you are only motivated about what's in it for you. If you're constantly thinking about what's in it for me, I want this, me, then that sometimes can drag your motivation down. So if you ask yourself, how can I contribute more to my employees? How can I contribute more to my clients? What more can I do for other people? Then that in itself becomes motivating. So when I feel a lack of motivation, I'm often being extremely self-centered, self-focused, focusing on all the things that I don't want to have in my life, all the things I don't want to happen. So what do you do? Well, first of all, depending on how stuck you feel, but I'm telling you, in 2010, I remember oftentimes lying in bed and not wanting to get up. Okay, so I've been at that level where I just haven't been wanting to get out of bed, haven't been wanting to leave my apartment, and at that level. So if you're at that level right now, what I highly suggest is that you just get up and move. Don't think too much. When you're at that point, when your brain is kind of dominating your emotions in your body, just get up and move and don't think about it. Just move your body. Moving your body will change your state. Just going for a walk, just moving around, but do something. Don't lie there. Okay, that's definitely one thing to think about. If you're that stuck, just get up and move, and then acknowledge yourself for whatever you do. Okay, so acknowledge yourself that I got up and I moved today. That's going to change your state, moving your body, how you breathe, how your body is your body posture. All these things change your state. Now, another thing is you should seriously consider is, who are you spending time with? Because you're the average of the 4 or 5 people you spend the most time with. So try to think about people that are happy and make you smile and make you feel good. Spend time with those types of people. Eliminate everyone else, because they're just going to continue being the people that they are. So there's a couple of books that I want to mention. I'm a really, really big fan of a guy called Andrew Matthews. He's written quite a few books. This is Follow Your Heart, but he's also written Happiness in Hard Times, Happiness in a Nutshell, How Life Works, Happiness Now. And he is a really, really happy guy. We actually had him on our podcast. Andrew Matthews, Follow Your Heart. Brilliant book. When you read it, you just kind of feel okay about life. It's funny. He has cartoons in there. So that's definitely a book to check out, Andrew Matthews. If you're feeling stuck, I actually read it on the toilet a little bit every day. So I get through about 1 to 2 pages. I'm sure you'll be able to calculate how long I'm on the toilet, but then that's a bit weird. And so Andrew Matthews has a really good take on life. I find it quite light, quite easy to read. And it kind of gets you focused from the things that maybe are dragging you down, to sort of accepting that, okay, life goes up and down, it's okay, things come in waves, letting go, not trying to over control things, all those things that can actually drain your motivation. Another book that I really like is A Guide to the Good Life by William B. Irvine. It's a book on Stoicism. What he's done is he's read through all the different Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, etc., and then he's written a book called A Guide to the Good Life, and I think it's a really good book. It is written for sort of this century, and I've read it many times. I keep on reading it. Stoic philosophy is great in terms of just dealing with life and the ups and downs. It has a very sort of realistic perspective on how things work, and that's what I really like about it. But daily motivation is also about your habits, right? So what kind of habits do you have in place to actually get you going? So what I've found is actually your morning is the most important part of the day. So getting enough sleep is key. If you don't get enough sleep, it drains your motivation, it drains your energy, it will make you feel more stuck. And I know there's people out there that say I only need 4 hours sleep. I don't believe that. I think everyone needs about 7 to 8 hours of good sleep every night. You also need a cool down period in the evening. So obviously staying out late and then going to bed makes you tired, which makes you grumpy, saps your motivation, etc. And then if you keep on doing that, it's a downward spiral. So getting enough sleep is really important, and then allowing yourself enough time in the morning. So I was just on a business trip in Sweden, where I think about 3 mornings in a row I didn't have time to do my morning routine. I've been a real Nazi about it. I've been really strict about it for many years. But it's interesting to experiment as well. And I definitely noticed the difference in motivation. So if I get up that little bit earlier, if I make time to do some journaling, do some acknowledgement, do some gratitude, meditate, do some yoga, I'm at a definite different motivational level than if I just roll out of bed, stress, if I'm late for things and the rest of the day is just a blur of stress, then it's a shitty day. But if I make the time to get up and actually do some good things for myself very early in the morning, I just feel better in every single way. Now, you might be saying, I don't have time for that. Well, what do you have time for? What is important? So I think the trick there, and one of the things I didn't do in Sweden, was I should have just said, I'm going to bed. Now it's done. I'm going to bed. And you can do that early. Because if you know you need a cool down period, then be realistic. Be realistic about your needs and then just do them. And whatever people think, they can think. So in terms of morning routine, I think that's the real big secret for daily motivation is setting yourself up for a good day, getting clear on what you're meant to do that day. So what I used to do is I just used to get up and just work, and I was not in a good place. But over the last couple of, I think it's my morning routine has gotten better and better over the years. But I started with very simple stuff like just a breathing exercise called pranayama. I started doing that just in the morning, which worked, and then I started layering on things. But definitely, if you don't have like a defined morning routine, then I recommend just finding one habit and then starting to do that. And then what you'll start to notice is that little thing matters and you really enjoy it, and then you start doing more things, and those things then matter more, and then you kind of start prioritizing your mornings instead of your evenings, for instance. So remember that you need a cool down period before you go to bed. Well, that's not for everyone, but I do. This channel is mainly for entrepreneurs, and I think entrepreneurs are typically quite active, quite busy in their head. They think really fast. We want to do a lot of things. And another thing with daily motivation is setting 2 big goals. So when I started out in business, I kind of wanted to be a multi-millionaire by the age of 35. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I'm 35. And because I set that goal of millions and billions of dollars, my journey's been incredibly stressful. But now I'm happy with easier goals. Every day I set simple, easy goals to reach. And then I just do them, and I feel good because I've done my goals. The problem with setting 2 big goals is you're constantly overreaching, and you never feel like what you do is enough. So there's a book by Grant Cardone called The 10X Effect, and yeah, great. I mean, it's okay to think big thoughts, and Elon Musk also thinks big thoughts, but there's this element of actually being happy. And if you do what you set out to do in a day, it's just like doing your homework. You kind of feel happy that you did your homework. And it's kind of like that in life and business as well. I set small achievable goals. I do them on a daily basis. I find that works for me. It makes me happier. Like today, it's all about these YouTube videos, and I'm doing them, and that's what I wrote down that I was going to do. So now I don't feel guilty about all the other millions of things that I'm supposed to be doing. And yes, there's a part of my brain constantly chitty-chatting about all these other things that I should be doing, but the should is not really a good word. You should want to do things. You should move towards the things that matter instead of things that you should do. So daily motivation, I think, the key is really the morning, setting yourself up for success every morning. And a part of the morning routine is actually planning it so that you do have time for it. Maybe if you have kids, it means going to bed earlier and waking up a little bit earlier. I don't have kids, so I don't know the challenges of that, but I'm sure you have a lot less time. But then maybe you need to prioritize that, some kind of morning routine over working an additional hour a day, because maybe the stuff that you're working on is more important because you're now focused on what you should be doing. Well, not should be doing, but yeah, you know what I mean. The things that matter. So the stuck feeling is really about just moving. Just get up and move. Just get up, get out and move. And you can overthink things. You don't always have to think things through 100%. Sometimes it's okay just to do things. And good or bad, who knows, right? There's a story about a man that lived in a nice valley, and he had a son, and at some point he decided that he wanted to become rich. So he borrowed money from all his neighbors and bought a stallion, a horse. And that same night, that horse escaped, and all his neighbors came over to him and said, "You must feel so bad. You wanted to get rich, but now you owe us all this money and you don't even have a horse." And he looked at them, shrugged, and said, "Good thing or bad thing, who knows?" And that's kind of how life is, because the next thing that happened to him was that horse met up with another group of horses and then came back to the village, and he was able to get them locked into the fence thing. And all the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, you must feel so good. Now you're rich. You thought you'd lost everything, but now you have everything. Now you're a rich man. You must feel so good." And he said, "Good thing or bad thing, who knows?" So now they wanted to sell the horses, so they needed to train them. So him and his son started training the horses, and the son fell off one of the horses. The horse stepped on his leg, and he broke his leg. And that means, and the leg didn't heal properly, so I had like a crooked leg. So now the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, you must feel so bad. Your son is so nice. Now he'll never marry because he's got a crooked leg." And he shrugged and said, "Good thing or bad thing, who knows?" And the next thing that happened was that the next year, the emperor of the country went to war with the neighboring state, and the military came, and they got all the able sons to go to war. And all the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, we're so sad. We lost our son. I love my son. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. And you're so lucky." And he said, "Good thing, bad thing, who knows?" And that's kind of how things work in life. Definitely an entrepreneurial trait is like being a bit of a control freak. And it's definitely something that a lot of people struggle with. It doesn't help watching the news about all this sort of bad things that can happen. But yeah, just letting go and having faith that whatever happens could be a good or a bad thing. Who knows? Sometimes a bad thing is a good thing. I'm sure we can all look back on bad things that have happened and see that was a pivotal point in my life. That's when I made changes. That's when I started having a morning routine, or that's when I changed. I learned something. So bad things are often good things. So without further ado, I will end this. If you like this video, hit like. If you have any comments, comment below. Please subscribe. I do these videos on a daily basis. And you can also check out my book called Never Work Again if you want to start your own business. Thank you for watching.